can. Jungle bans make a whole lot of sense. Gwen is outstanding. Again, she is more of a late game champ. She's good like pre-6 and then troughs until 3 items, then is the strongest top laner. And so 100 Thieves are taking a like, okay, we can get top scuttle, and then we'll see you at 30. Like that's kind of that game plan if it's top lane there for Ssumday.
Consistently seeing the Gwen picked up early, the Viego picked up early, those that are still living out their time here on 11.14, but it's Lee Sin that's getting first locked in for CLG.
Yeah, and I'm actually okay with the Gwen trade because at the end of the day, if Broxah's on Lee Sin, that's one of his strongest champs, that's one of the strongest players, like we take that trade every day. And then Viego allows you to have flexibility. This is still a champ that you can play in mid or top. You can also put him in the jungle if you like the matchup better. So I think CLG just retaining the flexibility and making sure that your best player is on his best champ is the right move here.
Starting to get those eyes on the bot lane potentially. Also, I mean, I think it's kind of cool seeing picks like Kalista coming up a bit more and more. Just a little bit ago, Stixay bringing it out as a strong pick, but now everyone's seeing how well she can do in the current meta.
I mean, Kalista's definitely one of the like most sought after bot laners right now. Looking at this patch across as my websites load, it's like so it's like Ziggs, Varus, Varus, Kalista are all very, very close in overall presence. Like Ziggs actually has kind of taken the top spot for bot lane, mostly because he's taking so many bans that like because he's flexible, unlike let's say like a Kalista, it's like okay, well we're getting a bit of use out of banning it away from the mid lane as well. Graves is hyped to see.
Would you have bet that we would see Graves?
The Outlaw making an appearance.
Good, yeah. Sentinel skin I don't think is in this patch. It's still 11-14, so unlucky can't get the new threads. But I think he's actually another one, by the way, that would be happy to see Graves in lane. From what I've seen of high elo solo queue, some people will play some mid Graves. I don't know his matchup tables. I don't know when you play him, but he is good.
100 Thieves really seem to think so in this case, bringing him out. And we know that they have been doing a slight experimentation in draft to see what they can bring to the table in these final weeks here. But Ryze making his way through all the way.
Wait, so hold on, Freak. Can you explain to me what's the context in which you would want to play Graves? And tell me why this is not just a disrespectful draft by 100 Thieves.
All right, so if you think it's good, right? So keep in mind, right? Remember what we said week 1 of the LCS summer split where we're like, can't believe they're playing Karma. Those idiots. You brought in Abbeddage and they were like, just kidding, Karma's sick. What a great team. So I will always reserve judgment because I haven't seen it.
I was after losing their first game.
Of course, yes.
Okay,
and Graves may lose.
Okay.
And then it'll like beat Cloud9 tomorrow and be like, of course it's good. So I will reserve judgment, right? Off of, one game, whatever. He is kind of an all-round, like, good damage champion. Like, if your comp is going to be fairly supportive, if you need a mid-game bridge because Graves don't really fall off, then he's going to provide damage. If your lanes have CC, so, like, if you're going to get, a gank in bot or a gank in mid, if lanes have CC, that's good there. Again, Graves mid, I think, is a real angle. The flexibility is good. Again, I would have to know his matchups to know which ones you put it into, but, like, it can make that a good draft on 1, 2, 3, because then you're like, oh, we see Ryze, that's a matchup we like, and we go. That kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, even that Karma, they did spend the entire week renovating and reiterating on that draft until they finally made it work in a capacity that really impressed everyone. Who knows? Maybe we'll see the same thing around Graves.
So to that point, if Graves is going jungle, I'm incredibly curious to see what 100 Thieves are going to put in the mid lane because I feel like he is going to need not help necessarily, but some sort of coverage, right? So he can farm safely until he gets to a point where he is comfortable. So right now I'm still kind of thinking that it's gonna be Gwen top, obviously the Varus bot, and then Graves jungle, but we shall see. Ooh, and Ashe, I like the Ashe pick a lot.
All right, actually. I will have you know, now that I've been able to peruse the internet, Graves has played almost as many games in lane as in jungle across this patch. Now this is looking at like European regional league stuff, right? But like he's 600 damage per minute and 50% win rate in the mid lane, right? So like the teams that have tried it have some level of success. It is a possible option, but of course we're gonna see in the draft who's on what they're actually doing. Again, you absolutely need CC in your other lanes. Graves provides nothing but just damage.
Yeah.
And a shove, by the way. Like he's really good at clearing waves. You do put him in mid. So I'm just gonna keep saying it until they finally just lock in LeBlanc. And I'm like, okay, I was wrong. But it's always a possibility, right?
Yeah.
And that's gonna make me happy. Ashe, good for the CC there as well. It's fun to see like champs we don't see a lot of getting drafted right now.
Yeah, I mean, we can already say the bot lane is going to be lit, right? Yeah. There's so much engage from both sides, and also just roam potential from the Ryze. It has the ability to just come and gank bot whenever they have a good level 6 setup with the Ashe. So from a CLG perspective, I think when they've looked best, it's when they've had a clear reason to go in, and Ashe provides that. I think the rest of the comp is a little bit bit execution heavy. And to be honest, I'm not super confident in the ability of who I assume Finn to play Viego. He's had some trouble in lane. But overall, I feel good about the fact that CLG has just a really, really straightforward bot lane win condition.
Yep.
I also think one thing I do want to point out that's kind of like a weird, not underrated, but something that people generally tend to forget about Ashe that I do like from this composition is that, again, like Graves needs to get to a point where he is going to be comfortable, and Ashe provides a lot of vision control if you play her correctly, to the point where, you know, like every single person I know that jungles and pros are just like, what champion do you want to play against? It's always Ashe because she's just so good at tracking. So with this composition, if you do have Broxah in lanes early, which he does, I mean, Lee Sin is the champion that allows him to have the strongest communication with his team just because he's so comfortable with it. He visibly has better communication with his lanes whenever he typically plays Lee Sin. And then you have the Ashe for vision coverage. They should be able, theoretically, to track this Graves very easily. That being said, Graves is one of Closer's most played champions historically. This is something he is incredibly comfortable on, and also something he has a very high win rate on.
Yeah. And real quick, I don't think Graves needs to be that sneaky. Like, he's just there to be the follow-up. Like, he's there because he provides a lot of upfront burst damage, like lands the shotgun 2 shells, lands the Q, and it's like, oh, we've got a Syndra stun, we've got Varus Leona on the bot side. Like, even if you know he's coming, it's like, okay, do you want to get this entire wave? Because as soon as Syndra stuns you, that's 400 health gone off of the Graves follow-up, so that can look really good. By the way, excited to see Syndra into Ryze. We saw the Yasuo into it last game. Syndra and Ryze, at least from solo queue data, are the 2 best picks against it, so it's nice to see pro teams. Right? Yeah, we don't see much Yasuo, we don't see a ton of Syndra, but they're both really good champions that are against a current meta mid laner in Ryze, so I'm happy to see like Dignitas as well as 100 Thieves doing the prep to be like, hey, we got these matchups ready.
I gotta say, I didn't love the Braum pick from CLG. I think when you're playing against 2 immobile carries in Syndra and Varus, and you're also playing an Ashe, it's kill or be killed, right? And I would prefer to see them pick something a little bit more aggressive. I get that Leona wasn't available, and I want to hear you take, because it sounds like you disagree, but I get that Leona was not available, but we've even been seeing people counterpick themselves in the Rakan into Leona matchup just to get the ability to engage hard, and I don't think Braum does a good job following up here. So I would have liked to see CLG just commit a little bit harder to, hey, we're just gonna kill your mid and kill your bot over and over.
The thing I was gonna say about the Braum is that it's a pretty safe pick, and also I'm kind of wondering, just given CLG's tendencies, if they're going to be prepping for a level 1. Because again, and that wouldn't be the only reason why they'd pick the Braum, but it would feed into the fact that when we thought about CLG at their best, which in my opinion was at the kind of towards the end of last split, it was when they were doing these really creative and good level 1s. And like I said, this composition, regardless of what you think of it, should do a really good job of tracking the Graves and tracking the enemy jungler. So.
Also, I think Braum has counterpick value. He has counterpick value against Syndra. No matter who she ults, you put up the shield, cool, it's gonna get blocked.
It's like,
cool. It also breaks Varus Q. And we've seen those battles where it's like it's hard to get in and you're not ready to engage. Like, yeah, Nautilus hook gets you in there, but okay, you block a full power Varus Q and you can withstand poke once in a while. So there is some value there. It's a useful lens to think about champ select sometimes. It's one of the fun things about champ select is we take a step back, like you have lane synergy, right? Team synergy, what about counterpick value, who's gonna get prio, who's gonna outscale, like there's a bunch of axes to think about picks on. And in the lens of its counterpick, yeah, it's actually good against what Varus is doing, it's good against what Syndra's doing. Are those points gonna come up all the time? No, right? Like, so we'll have to see, but if Smoothie's there, he's gonna save some lives.
Yeah, and I mean, in that case, having someone like you're saying to offer a bit of that protection with Ashe, some utility on her own, but or not necessarily having the mobility. Kaizen, before we end up throwing into the actual game, does this still make you a CLG believer? Do you believe in this draft?
Look, the faith it's higher order than drafts and picks. It's not about what they pick, okay?
Not about the roster.
I personally, I still don't like the draft. If we're picking Braum for level 1, that better be a hell of a level 1 to make up for the fact that
it's not just that. Freak talking about
he's talking about other things for saving lives, but he needs to be taking lives, not saving lives. Okay?
That's Ashe's job. Throw the arrow out.
We're going to be getting into the game. 800 Thieves taking on CLG. Pastry and Kobe, take it away.
Thank you. It is our final game of the day here, Kobe. 100 Thieves, one of, if not the top dog in the LCS, up against CLG, who are maybe going to make it to playoffs. things are going to have to break pretty nicely for them in the back end of this. But Damonte said it yesterday. It is possible, Kobe.
I am not buying what you are selling, buddy.
Don't
You
worry.
cannot convince me that that is going to happen.
But it could happen.
I'm here for a fun one.
Yep.
Yes, 100 Thieves would like to win this game so that they remain at the top of the standings by virtue of TSM winning earlier in the day. TSM have just tied them, so they're holding onto that tied first place tenuously at the moment. I really wanted to weigh in on that champ select from the analyst test when they were punting around the questions around Graves. When Graves greatly excels, and by the way, you see Graves come back or get benched based on these 2 AD.
Yeah.
They've done it like 4 times. He got, on this patch, 11.4. Guess what? 2 AD back.
Hey.
Woo! Graves is back. So, anyways, the main strengths of Graves are around self-sufficient laners that can set you up, because Graves excels greatly in PvE scenarios where he gets to power clear, but you're doing a lot of counter jungling. He's one of the safest counter jungling champions. So sometimes you'll even see metas where Graves players will take Ignite instead of Flash and play super aggressively into the enemy jungler, because you know you can win every duel. In this case versus Lee Sin, Flash is incredibly important because you're dodging multiple skill shots on the opponent team. They also have an Ashe on the opponent team. An extra Flash goes a very long way, and losing mobility versus this setup would be too detrimental. But those are the cases where you really see Graves excel, when you can bully enemy jungler in those duels. You have these self-sufficient lanes that aren't going to rely on you, and you don't have to cover for, which allows you to mine not only your camps, but you're trying to get your pathing, tracking the enemy jungler, taking theirs. Top lane's so volatile though, Pastry. There's a siren going off. Junglers, get here now.
That was such a nice Q dodge there from Ssumday, actually, to kind of win the end of that trade. Also, as a reminder, Gwen has Ignite.
Yeah, there's an Ignite on this map, and it is in the top lane, so these volatile lanes are just screaming, yo, jungler interaction. They know that Lee Sin's target's topside, but Ssumday's a little bit cautious here. He knows possibilities. If he decided to give up his bottom side camps, Broxah could make his life very painful. And so these are the situations where if you don't get any intel on an enemy jungle position, you have to play more cautiously. That's why we see both of them not overextending now. Good dodge there by Damonte, just off to the side from Scatter of the Week.
Yeah, nice little side step there. We'll see a lot of that interaction here between these two as Syndra wants to play up and get prio in the lane, as Closer has answered the call, Kobe. To the top lane he goes.
The bat signal went up early with that trade down to 100 HP, and here comes Batman.
In the smoke screen, but will dodge the incoming Q.
Big part of it is
just fine. Oh, hello, Broxah in mid lane getting aggressive. Damonte, not enough gas in the tank, but Abbeddage is forced to flash.
Big part of it is just covering to allow Ssumday to push this wave in. Yes, if Lee Sin is there, you have a really good scenario. Now Ssumday getting super aggressive off of seeing the Lee Sin mid. This positioning is all off seeing Lee Sin mid. They can call for the dive. No extra CC here on Gwen though, so they can't actually catch Finn and just zone him from the minion wave.
Other nice thing is that Closer maybe has a camp to take here. There are Krugs up, I believe. I don't think Broxah made it there yet, but there's also Scott or Crab to fall back to as well. So TP going to come back in for Finn. Abbeddage going to stick around to make sure the minions hit the turret, and TP by Ssumday in mid lane here. They're going to briefly trade off here, as no one wants to miss any minions, basically. That's the story of all these teleports.
Yeah, I was curious actually, because they did have Abbeddage kind of walking back towards mid. Here's the all-in though.
Bottom side looking good for FBI and Huhi. No surprises there. But pushing was happening here for WildTurtle and Smoothie, but in the 2v2, it's going to be all Leona plus Varus.
Yeah, and it's a standoff because both of them have Cleanse Ignite, so it's about who uses it first. You want to land your stun first for both sides. Either Leona Q and then wait for the Cleanse, Ignite after the Cleanse. If you mess that timing up, you're bad. Same thing for Braum. You want to get your stun off first. Wait on your Ignite. Don't Ignite as soon as you stun them, because then they get a 2-for-1. Cleanse removing everything, and yeah, miss out on the extra damage. Feels bad.
Does feel bad, as it looks like the swap is going to be a little bit more permanent than we maybe expected, but I don't think it's going to last the whole laning phase. But Abbeddage looking pretty comfortable here on the top Syndra, and now looks like the exchange is going to happen once more, as Ssumday is spotted in transition. Abbeddage going to hover just to make sure Broxah doesn't go in, and Huhi once again getting aggressive. slow there onto WildTurtle is FBI is going to try and pepper him with arrows, but Ashe firing back there, but still, again, Varus.
They both have arrows, Pastry.
In these
Whoa,
early games. I realized that as I said it.
Arrows flying both ways. Those things are sharp. Turns out the Varus actually gets priority.
The Halo Blades character, huh?
You know,
Interesting.
Who would have thought? Lethal Tempo definitely going to give a lot of power later, but Ashe actually gets pushed out for once, and this is really big. FBI and Huhi just dominating here on bottom side. You know, with the Braum there, CLG actually getting chunked out super heavily, and it's going to cost WildTurtle. He pays for that one with minions. It's not just the gold, it's the extra experience here too. Ashe greatly benefits from this. You really need your ultimate to have that impact in trying to set this Lee Sin up to have successful plays, because currently it is going to be Graves continuing on his warpath, clearing faster, level 5 now ahead of the Lee Sin, who's fishing around for these plays, trying to punish the flashless Syndra.
Abbeddage, though, will be playing with probably the appropriate amount of respect. Wave's pushing in the wrong direction, though.
Don't get prisoned.
Big stack of cluster creeps there. And he knows like he has to do this. It sucks, but he's going to find Broxah. Nice little roam there, but Smoothie's here as well, so no one's going to commit.
Huge timing, though. The communication is so key. Just highlighting there's no flash Syndra, and they actually go for it.
He finds two. Blind Zenith played that. Unbreakable up there for Smoothie, but 100 Thieves just chasing. Damonte's going to get ulted. See you later. That's going to be a kill for Syndra.
This is not your team,
Nope.
buddy. You are on the wrong side of the river, and he gets blown up. That is first blood, easy cash in for Abbeddage. Ultimate goes down on top of it for good measure. That's going to be the crab. 100 Thieves, river domination.
Level 6 Graves as well. Oh, goodness. There's a Zenith play, but Total is going to be the target. Smokescreen there, but the cleanse is good. Damage is nice, but not enough to kill Total. Total holding on to the summoners.
Yeah, you can't really get anyone there, because if you go for Braum, already gets the jump back. And if you go for the Ashe, cleanse is immediate for Turtle.
Revisit here. Actually, Broxah's down as well, but he's on the level 5. Still going to try and make it happen. Huhi the target, but he's pretty tanky with the W up.
Don't take that.
And they will not.
Don't take that. Yeah, he's on fire. Yeah, you could get in there. Probably a 1-for-1, but losing jungle presence here, so much more detrimental. So good call. Don't take that. Just push the wave in. This lets you get your reset first, so you can actually get back to your red side camps. Incredibly important here for Lee Sin to play off this and then go towards the Viego Gwen lane. Remember, you highlighted, there is no flash on Gwen. This is Ssumday taking the ignite. That is punishable. Lee Sin can get 6 off the red, go up there immediately, and try and make use of it. Here's another look at the possible, play there from Huhi. They walk back forward, so yes, they are in fog of war this whole time, but Huhi's got the numbers, so he makes an educated guess. There's a lot of people that like to sit in this bush and peek out into the river. Turns out they find someone there, and it actually draws over Damonte to walk right in too, which is even more than they bargained for. That's a lot more than they expected. They will take it.
They certainly will, and I will personally applaud the discipline of Closer to not just take that kill and instead give it over to Syndra. That's like one of the easier Graves. I mean, I think...
Hey, look what happened. He went to the red side. He's going to get level 6 off red. Just turns out everybody else is at this party too.
Uh-oh. Uninvited guest showing up. Closer covering Ssumday. And I will say, stylistically, even though we're still kind of figuring out the Graves for this game, I like that this allows Closer to just let FBI and Huhi win the 2v2. Because sometimes I feel like they go back to their old ways of trying to camp a bottom lane and get FBI ahead. But you know what? Let them win. Closer can influence the other lanes. They're just fine on their own.
Oh, guess what, Pastry? We highlighted the strengths of Graves at the beginning. Boom, on display, 100 Thieves. Yeah, it's definitely helped when you get the first blood walk in from mid laner towards the river. But even ahead of that, power clearing, getting the early PvE advantage, and this translates into setting up on these objectives. Level 7 now advantage for Graves, has the early lethality, probably going for the Eclipse, and gets to hover around on this top side a little bit longer.
CLG's just like, maybe we'll bait him in. Finn's like, hello.
Please take this bait.
Ssumday is not going to take it. Finn's like, so So now they don't know that you're not here, but if they did, I would probably be dead. It does have flash, no ignite. For Ssumday, so Finn actually probably just fine, but definitely looks a little spooky, even though Finn is the one with the sheen.
Yeah.
Ssumday has not TP'd back to the Slendies yet. It's actually coming up very shortly.
And so these are why I highlight it for the Graves pick. And these are my favorite types of jungle matchups where you get to play more chess than you do bongos. You get to decide, higher value on Rift Herald. Pretty much every jungler in the game will take first top Rift Herald in exchange for early Dragon in the current state of the game, unless your comp is literally, stacks for soul immediately, and that's your win condition, because the Rift Herald provides so much tempo for your team, which is earlier momentum for pushing down on these turret plates. You get more gold, you get more health off the towers. That lets you open up the map quicker, so then you can make those transition plays, picking people off as they try and rotate between objectives. And it accelerates your game plan in a way that early dragons just do not.
Right. And I think something you pointed out, also gives you access to secondary towers, which are also worth more gold, especially if you get the second Rift Herald, as Ssumday is letting it rip there onto Finn, but Finn's going to ulti out and be okay. But Ssumday, again, with the Ignite back up, is such a threat. But Damonte making their own Realm Warp in. Gwen, no flash. Finn starting the fight, and Ssumday is gone. Oh! Very nice from Damonte.
Finn's going to get his heal off. The minions were looking to finish him there, and he gets outplayed.
Gets Gwen passive. Pretty good. Big staying alive there for Finn. As 100 Thieves going to counter push mid here. Like you said, even with that roam, this is big tempo here for 100 Thieves.
Chop him up. Here comes the Ashe.
Whee! Oh, it hit. But no follow-up. Oh, no, there's Broxah kick. A little awkward, but Damonte still going in. Abbeddage low. Actually, Broxah going to finish that off. And 100 Thieves now have to turn tail and run. Closes out of there.
Love those Ashe arrows because you fire it from base. You also get your mana regen back. Cooldown starts ticking early. And you actually set up a play. WildTurtle feeling good about himself. Straight down mid lane. Gets rewarded. And CLG back at it again.
FBI, though, going to get knocked around by Braum. Ignited there, but there's the ulti out of Leona. Huhi, with the help of FBI, is going to assassinate Smoothie, and now Huhi's just going to run. He'll be fine.
Leona, it's so tanky, bro. Able to shrug that off after taking down Smoothie. 100 Thieves bring that bottom lane party down real quick. They're like, nice arrow. Now WildTurtle doesn't have the CC, so they punish Smoothie for it.
Turtle's been around a long time. That is an Ashe classic. The arrow down mid, so
yeah, the real classic is taking teleport and teleporting to it after you fire it, so you arrive there to take it yourself.
All right, well, Duskblade done there for FBI. Shieldbow done for Turtle, as Ssumday and Finn continue to do battle here in the top side, but Ssumday with no Ignite after getting himself killed, in a bit of trouble, but here we go.
Woo! Nice aim. They were stacking for him, so it was pretty easy. That's just percentage play there from Turtle. Broxah, I say it was a nice kick because you kick the Graves through the Syndra, you get your damage, you get your knockup, and they are able to finish off the mid laner kill on top of it. No flashes blown by 100 Thieves in that exchange, though, so they have them ready for this bottom lane possible play. Everybody roaming down for it.
Oh, here comes Closer, still has Rift Herald. Ssumday, though, just every snap. I mean, this matchup has been becoming one of my favorites to watch in top lane, but we'll hold that thought because Rift Herald's dropped here in bottom side. Once again, FBI is looking to collect some extra gold, and the Rift Herald's going to help out.
Able to not stay close enough, so it all goes a decent amount there to Closer. Big cash in for the Jungle Graves, baby, and the Eclipse is done, so he's already online. Feels so nice.
I assume there are options for Graves. I feel like the last time we saw Graves, actually a champion that Closer has played quite a bit this year, obviously not so much this split. Shieldbow, I think an option. Gale Force we saw a lot of in the early stages, but Eclipse is one of those items that every time I see it, it just looks a lot looks better.
Yeah, I like the lethality heavy builds for Graves. When you're in comps like this and you want that burst damage, you've got Syndra, Varus, and Leona always set up for you. So I like big explosions.
Yep.
Plus gives you the extra little bit of shield and mobility there. So Definitely worthwhile for closer. We'll see about this top lane though, because once again that siren's going off. Finn's been chunked out low, and the ignite is ready for Ssumday.
Oh, this looks like a very unfair 1v2. No ultimates burned by Abbeddage or closer, and Damonte is forced to flash away. At least gives him a thumbs up on the way out, but 100 Thieves starting to exert their will across every part of the rift. Turtle slowed. Zenith Blade not going to connect. It was actually Chain of Corruption coming in for FBI, but he finished off the turret first, and Turtle did have time to flash away.
Yeah, that's a high-value push for 100 Thieves. They were going to get that tower no matter what, and Turtle being up there kind of close burns the Ashe flash. Definitely going to be felt as far as the next dragon fight. Only 25 seconds away, and guess what? You've already got the resets coming out. Ssumday's heading back towards top with no teleport, so doesn't look like 100 Thieves is going to put a lot of emphasis on it, though.
100 Thieves, it looks like Syndra will take it back here. Abbeddage does have the TP if he needs to rejoin. Dragon up in 8 seconds. That is the thing CLG can lean on right now, but that gold is looking pretty good on the 100 Thieves side as Damonte currently ahead of FBI, but not by much.
Yeah, so they're just committing once again to top side there with the Gwen. Finn also does not have teleport, but he's hovering down. So CLG are going to finish off this dragon. I'd say 100 Thieves, maybe you fish around for something, but if it doesn't present itself, just take the push on top side for 100 Thieves and be happy with Gwen again shoving into Viego.
Maybe a little bit of push on mid as well is somewhat damaged, but Damonte pretty good at cleaning that one out, especially with his first item done. So CLG actually chasing 100 Thieves up the top river to the Rift Herald. Arrow! Oop! Everyone dodge it! Ah, Closer, come on, you got the message from so far away.
Yeah, everybody saw it. Huhi shouts over his shoulder, yo, Abbeddage, dodge this. Abbeddage walks out of the way. Abbeddage say, hey, Closer, this is still coming, bro. Doesn't matter because nobody's going to pick him off, but does mean they're able to finish up, return back to this Rift Herald. And so our earlier logic on Rift Herald #1 over Dragon still continuing for 100 Thieves along with #2, which, again, I still support as far as the extra pushing power here, opening up these lanes and trying to get that juicy tower gold for themselves. I would set the premise up that they're definitely going to fight #3, because then you're going to have your rank 2 in all of your ultimates there. You see Syndra already has rank 2 ultimate. FBI will get one really quickly, and those combine for very dangerous burst damage around those small jungle corridors. So if you use a Rift Herald up on top side way ahead of time, I really like this. You can push it in heavily. You'll get an early push there, advantage in setup for Dragon #3, so you can actually get the primary position there, and you don't have to worry too much about CLG approaching Soul, as long as you execute in that one fight with your gold lead.
Yep, pace staying nice and high though for 100 Thieves. Love that they're just crashing at top lane and trying to continue to get some gold and open up the map for themselves, as you mentioned. Almost 3,000 gold ahead, not quite there yet, but 100 Thieves are starting to create a pretty sizable gap in gold between these two teams. As Damonte will try and answer here on the bottom side of the map, but Ryze takes a little time to kill these towers.
Yeah, at the moment, just going to be chipping away at it. Long rotation over for any 100 Thieves member, though, so he's got plenty of time to work with. And it's just gonna finish it right off. Nobody else can actually get here, so finally answered there. CLG get their first turret. PastryTime, big money forward. Tanner time.
All right, Huhi does grab it, but again, it is going to be eyes on that third dragon here. 2 minutes 40 now until that one is up, and we'll be watching the inventories as well to see what second items are coming out, because everyone's got their first one.
Do you see that caution on display on screen? When you are strong side top, 100 Thieves assume CLG invaded their red quadrant and set up vision for a possible pick. So very, very cautious retake here for 100 Thieves as you transition back. That's something that goes overlooked because there's no action there, but they seed the bottom tower. They use multiple vision checking tools to make sure they're not walking into any CLG brush camping in preparation of transitioning back over.
Both teams also still with this mid-outer turret up. So going to be a much shorter fight for the mid-wave here, as both ADs are basically parked here in mid lane, trying to get the wave pushing for their team. A little bit of tug-of-war there, as Broxah may have found a loop around here, but FBI is going to try and cut that off. at least get a little bit of damage down. But it is CLG currently owning this top side of the map. Ssumday right now going to have to play under a bit of pressure as CLG are on the wrong side to set up for this Dragon Vision, but they've still got time to make their way around.
Yeah, they can easily, you know, rotate Damonte over. Ryze has the Realm Warp, so you can make some pretty big objective plays even if you're a little bit lagging in this. I would say, though, a minute and 15 seconds, get your recalls off now, get your control wards. As you can see, nobody has them in inventory except for Smoothie, who just went back. And Smoothie down there is the one doing the vision work for CLG. So he gets a little bit of that deep ward here, puts his control ward, sweeps out through the river, and it only is going to be a reward if CLG can defend that vision. Vision put down ahead of time and not defended is just a waste of time. So if 100 Thieves get their full reset off, they come in force, they take advantage of the fact that you're not coordinated in your vision play and just retake and immediately sweep it all out. Your efforts, as admirable as they were for nothing.
Would you look at that? Closure and Huhi, first to the river, right on time
Team
for the Dragon.
Vision play, Pastry. Team Vision play.
And their closer just replaces the ward he found with one of his own.
And it turned into a zombie. Betrayed by your own ward.
FBI still shooting Qs over the little ridge.
Oh, the
that is a
pick,
rebel.
though.
One of FBI is who they want to look for. And now Broxah going to dive in. FBI trying to fend for himself. It's closer that's already been left off the rift, as that's a nice little kick flash there. Finn's going to clean up FBI as a result. As Graves, that was quite confusing. And now Finn going to keep diving in. CLG looking for kill number 3. Not going to find it just yet, but they killed the jungler. That's going to mean Dragon, CLG.
CLG unleashed, Pastry time. Guess what? No vision, no problem. Realm Warp in, baby. You see a hero, you Realm Warp on his ass. They get everybody in there, right on top of FBI. Even with Flash, Broxah is able to chase him down, gets the kick flash out, and all of a sudden, this preparation, these careful calculations of 100 Thieves saying, yes, big brain play, we're going to get a bunch of money off these top lane plays and these Rift Heralds. Now the Dragon stacking is scary because CLG, they don't hesitate. Ashe Arrow into Realm Warp. The coordination here pays off. Broxah kick flash onto the Varus right through the 2 other members and just dominates this team fight. Finn even trying to chase off Abbeddage, trades flashes with him, was 1 Q away from finishing off that kill. CLG not sitting around anymore, Pastry time.
Nope. This ain't no Cloud Soul either. This is Ocean Soul, baby. CLG on track for a very quick soul here in this game. And now 100 Thieves must show up to play every single time the Dragon respawns. The gold lead wasn't even that big to begin with. To be honest, 3K up for 100 Thieves was nice, but now that has been crushed down to only 1,000 gold ahead. Ryze is scaling. CLG feeling good. They know exactly how to play the game out from this point.
Yeah, they do. No hesitation. Fire off that arrow. Get in there with the Realm Warp. Really, this is exactly what people want to see. You know, this is a breath of fresh air watching CLG, you know, pull off that play, considering the last kind of month that they have had. So good stuff here. See if they can keep it up, though, because currently just a little bright spot.
Oh, that's funny. I think that's the second time that particular username
you know, it's
appeared on the
funny.
broadcast. What?
The reason why he only had 150 channel points to bet on CLG now is because he was previously betting on CLG and lost them all because they lost so many games.
It has layers. I love it. Also, I feel like Realm Warp Arrow is like the 2021 version of the classic TP Arrow, right? It's build your own Season 1 Ashe.
Yeah, get the team incorporated in it. Love it.
It's true. Quite a bit better than a solo TP mid where you insta-die even though you stunned them for like a year. Damonte is busy catching waves here in the top side. Wits End done for Turtle. CLG, I mean, happy to wait here. Definitely a team that has been quite patient in a lot of their games, for better or worse.
Who? Which one?
CLG.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, okay, yeah. They've been overly patient sometimes.
Yeah, yes, I did say for better or worse, Kobe. It has been both.
Yeah, I'm on board, okay, I'm on board. I'd say there's been a lot of worse for them, but we're focusing on positives this game. Man, that play that they just put off mid lane, what a banger, right?
It was very nice, but is there any more for CLG? Also, these mid outer turrets have been up for way too long. They need to, like, change the difficulty on the tower defense game, all right?
I like these last 2 consecutive plays CLG have pulled off. When you've got a lull with objectives at the moment, because there's going to be no rushdown on the Baron, and Dragon already taken means there is a trough on this mid-map gravity, basically, that's going to draw anybody out. So you go for these kind of hanging plays. Broxah just waits in the bush by his split pusher. I love these trailing split pusher plays where, whether it's jungler or whether it's the other split pusher with teleport, he hovered behind Damonte, hoping for the 1v1 trail. Maybe you get the pick off, you can punish. If not, you don't actually lose a lot because there's not a big opportunity cost because there are no big other objectives on the map, 400 Thieves to push on, and you're just throwing out these chances. So swing, and they don't get the kill, but they do get the tower on top side. They do get this standing gold that's just on the map waiting for them to pick it back up. And guess what? They've evened it up, and because of the early investment, they have such tremendous priority now over 100 Thieves.
All right, well, a minute until the Dragon is up. It will be the first soul of this game. The first of 4 tries for CLG to get it, but obviously they'd love to get it right now. They are ready to team fight, right? The gold is even. Yeah. Damonte's pretty big. Turtle's got his items. It's just about the execution now.
Man, I just noticed too the second item for Doms there for Graves, investing so incredibly heavy into the armor penetration. Starting out with lethality and get the flat penetration, there's not a lot of armor stacking going on. You see all these merc treads going down on the opponent team, but you know, percentage penetration is applied first, and then you get your lethality. So maybe he's just going to go more lethality, get another serrated Dirk in there. That will be actually a pretty quick power spike if they can wait a little bit to get in that for the more burst damage. But you know, a lot of the defense is actually coming from stuff like Braum. It's not coming from armor. It's coming from unbreakable.
Oh, this is what they want to do. All right. Well, I was gonna say Ssumday completely took over the right side of the map. So CLG cannot go for this. Now they turn for the fight. Arrow hits on Huhi, but he flashes out. And Ssumday's soloing the Dragon. So CLG, I like the attempt, but that's not gonna work out this time.
Yeah, it was a realm warp over to the side, but they're still just kind of sideswiping there instead. They don't have anything to say about this Dragon, so maybe if they're able to capitalize following up more quickly on the arrow and chain stun before Huhi could flash out, it could have looked different. I still think that Ssumday could have moved up pretty quickly from Dragon there, so swing and a miss this time for CLG, but hey, as you alluded to earlier, Pastry, you like to see him swinging instead of shitting.
Definitely, as Damonte is just taking over the side lane as well. 290 farm on this Ryze. Finn, though, potentially at the mercy of the side lane Gwen. Ulti's out, but Ssumday's going to keep on chasing you. Snip, snip, Ignite is down. Great flash out of Finn there as the last level of the ulti comes out. And who is that? That's Damonte. Hello, Ssumday. Ssumday now going to have to get out of this one. Gwen W apparently not up because she would still be alive. And Damonte picks up a very nice kill.
Punished for the all-in CLG. Get right back up, PastryTime, let's go. They got to kill, you got to push hard, get something off of it. Mid lane has a 50% HP. They've got jungle attention in the area. Damonte's actually getting blue first, and he used Realm Warp in addition to his teleport for bottom side play, so doesn't look like they actually get an objective off of this play, and it's just a teleport invested for the kill credit onto Ssumday. Guess what? Gwen continues scaling. My personal view on the Gwen is that the 2 items are where you have really scaled to effectiveness, so I don't think you have to wait for much more than that. You don't have to get 3 or anything. He's actually got a lot of really nice to haves on top of his core 2 here with the healing cutting and a stopwatch. So possible big plays now available for Ssumday, even though you're sitting 0-2 on Gwen. What matters are your items here, and he's level 16, ready to roll. Again, this trailing play from CLG. I love these though. Trail behind Damonte, trying to protect the split push, look for any outstanding members that try and pick a fight, see if you can get that pick off. Don't get anything this time around again, and it actually gives plenty of time for 100 Thieves to establish full vision control over the Baron.
Right, this is maybe one of the issues of leaning so hard to a side lane, is that you basically give up the space between the mid lane and whatever lane they're pushing, because you can't like hang out in the river to shatter them. You actually have to be pretty close in case someone else is coming through. But they are heavily committing to Damonte here. At least he's invested in himself. That's a death cap now finished for this Ryze. And whether it's the side lane, the objective, or the enemy champions, Damonte is going to have to navigate very well.
He's going to do work. He is going to do work. Death cap coming in for Damonte is huge. You've got really, really outstanding damage output with this build. With the Seraphs on top of it, he's going to have so many multipliers. You know, level 16 here too. Ryze is going to be a big problem for 100 Thieves, so they have to focus their CC here. There's no cleanse on Damonte. He has a stopwatch. That's the only safety you have to worry about. If they could catch him out, that would be huge.
All right, well, Finn trying to run away Ssumday, who is going to permanently sit in the sideline when he knows that the rest of CLG can't come over to this side of the map. Damonte, though, is also permanently fixed in his side lane, so it's kind of a battle between the two strong side laners right now, but a recall here being popped by Huhi as Damonte is invading for some vision. Closer is going to spot him now. They know the race is there. That is such a good solo flare. Damonte into stasis. Now Broxah going to try and save him, but Damonte's just going to get picked off.
We cursed him. We cursed him! I'm sorry, Damonte! No, he got picked! Here goes another pick, though, followed up with the Varus ultimate. The rest of CLG are able to escape, but you walk into the Dark Forest, PastryTime, Fog of War, and the sweeper goes off. Huhi reacts so quickly. They tagged with the slow despite the flash from Damonte trying to get out, and guess what? Now your stopwatch is broken on top of it. We've been pretty good with the curses, actually.
Yeah.
2 for 2 as far as the games today.
Got him. Yeah, well.
Who's next in the death note? All right, Damonte, it would be terrible if they got picked off. You know, Damonte, that's so big for 100 Thieves. You know, he's the biggest damage output. You know, they only have to watch out for a stopwatch. Well, guess what? He's going in past the control ward, Pastry, so it is seen by them. Closer helps out Huhi with the sweeper. So this control ward sees him on the entry. Sweeper follows up, allows them to finish it off.
All right.
And yeah, we got to see how much damage. That was within basically half a rotation. As he's getting blown up, he's still almost 1-for-1s with Abbeddage, but you burn so much in that invade. Your flash is gone, your stopwatch is broken, and you're crying.
Remember what we said about how CLG are doing such a good job of shadowing this Ryze and protecting him? Weird how the one time they don't do that, he gets killed instantly.
Yeah, well, it was also pretty aggressive solo blind.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Through the jungle with no pressure anywhere else, but this is leading up to
All right, here we go.
And it's a soul fight.
You know what? If they get the solids, it's not going to matter. We'll erase it from our memory. As Broxah in the back of the pit, hanging out in the control. Oh, goodness, Ssumday is going to force Broxah out of there.
He can get back in. No, Lee Sin, no problem.
Oh, Arrow actually finds Abbeddage. Smoothie actually finds a follow-up as well. And Damonte going to leap into action, but Huhi trying to zone them out. Finn is doing everything he can to try and kill the Syndra, but it's not enough as Smoothie is going to be forced to flash away. And CLG, basically a 3v4 right now.
I love watching the late game Gwen. Ssumday's going to be able to chop him down. These arrows from FBI are doing so much work. Guess what? Abbeddage lives again. He teleports back in after getting chunked down to 100 HP. 100 Thieves protect him well, despite Finn trying to go for that Viego all-in counter there. The attempt at the steal, not going to find it for CLG either, so 100 Thieves can take this one to the bank.
All right, 2 more shots for CLG at the Ocean Salt. As attempt number 2 comes up short, we'll watch this one again.
All right, so again, they are trying to re-punish the Syndra. They know, no flash on Syndra, eyes on Syndra. Can we nail Syndra with anything? Broxah starts up on the Dragon. Yeah, he does get pushed out of the pit, but they're looking for the pick.
Oh, goodness. All right, the classic straight to Baron. Ssumday's in the back here. Closer going to get zoned out by Smoothie. I think they can finish this off, but what damage can Ssumday do? They get the Baron, but at what cost? Kobe Ssumday going golden there, and it's 100 Thieves running them into the ground in the Baron pit. Smoothie trying to do what he can. Sorry, Turtle is firing away in the back of it as Finn actually finds himself a double kill. He does the Varus ulti. He gets the triple kill, but he will fall as a result, and it's a mess. 3 for 3 in the Baron pit.
CLG get the Baron, though. They get to reset. They actually shouldn't give up any towers either. You can have Lee Sin come cover mid as hard as 100 Thieves are trying to push afterwards. This Baron is going to allow easy Baron-empowered recalls. Here's another look at how it happened. This was when we were talking about, oh yeah, 100 Thieves, they're going straight to the bank with that Dragon Steel. Guess what? The bank is too far away, PastryTime. And CLG Realm Warp in. These Ryze plays gaining you extra timings on moving towards objectives can be so big. Damonte didn't hesitate. They burn it down. Then they focus burning down this Gwen. And Finn, when you as Viego get to take the soul of Gwen, use the W, then after you get to ultimate, it's so big. Viego getting to kill Gwen, stealing the Gwen soul, gives you hope for the turnaround in the fight. In the end, they get to keep 2 of their Baron buffs, which allows them to re-push.
All right, well, CLG, excuse me. Getting themselves back into this game. Rebel
You
Baron
are
buff.
excused, sir. Don't worry about
Trying to push some of these lanes. Gold is even, which is not what you want when you have Baron. But hey, CLG have caught themselves back up, and we'll see how much damage they can get done. And if they can prepare perhaps the bottom half of the map and maybe get the inhibitor taken down and have super minions move towards that side of the map. Why, Kobe? That would make taking this Dragon Soul a hell of a lot easier.
I mean, all I really care about is how much damage Close is going to do. I was talking about, oh yeah, he's just going to go more lethality then. Okay, sick. Collector, baby. I would just want to see full burst damage, all guns ablazing. Give Closer some more DPS.
Loading guns into his gun, shooting other guns at people.
Shooting swords out of his guns, you know, he's got all the weapons here. Level 16, he's actually gonna get another rank in his ultimate. That ult hits like a entire truck, okay? He's got full lethality with armor penetration, percentage. Oh my God, okay, I just want to see the full combo.
All right, we'll see if we get to see it. Damonte also
because
still...
guess what? If he doesn't, then he just dies. Okay? The drawback is you don't have your Sterix, you don't have any of your pseudo-tanky Grave build, so you get one shot, sir.
Yeah, I've got no stopwatch.
Make it count.
Just the Eclipse shield. That's all you can hold on to. Eclipse tries to save you. Alrighty, well, this game's dragging on maybe a little longer than people would have expected, but as a result, now that we are here later into this game, we got Ssumday continuing to scale as the game goes. We've got Ryze continuing to scale as the game goes. We've got Finn scaling off the fact that Ssumday is scaling if they can pick her off. And once again, we'll be back to the Dragon Soul in a minute and 10 seconds. And this time, CLG feeling like they're getting out a little bit early.
Well, I think it is to their advantage to get out here early because they are so heavily rewarded with Braum, with Ashe, you know, having 100 Thieves base check, but they don't keep everybody in the river. So 100 Thieves going to push hard on mid instead. They ignore the setup for Soul. They push on the tower first. And they get rewarded with the objective. Guess what? Reset from CLG. They abandon their position that they just secured on Dragon. And once again, it's a case of vision laid down and left unprotected. So retake from 100 Thieves is allowed. They get right back in there. And they even have topside setup. Does Ssumday finish off that tower before teleporting in? No, Finn arrives first, so you know they don't also get the tower on top of it, but they did get the clean retake of Vision and River.
Oh, Finn TPing so early here. CLG trying to make a play right now. Broxah actually can hop over as well. Oh my goodness, this could be so sneaky. Realm Warp as well. Everyone's looking for the flank. And now CLG have maybe sprung the trap early, but 100 Thieves cannot expect this. Huhi now the target, but he's very tanky, and the TP does come through for Ssumday. So now it's a 5v5 for the Soul.
They just used Ashe Arrow on that too. Yeah, Leona ultimate's down, so maybe it's an even trade of engagement tools.
All right, well, Broxah's trying to find Ssumday, but he also needs to be there for the Dragon to smite it, so maybe we're just going to flip it right out front.
Oh, baby.
All right, it's
Graves has
reset.
so much burst damage. Closer can combo so much burst damage with this, but he can also get one shot if he gets stunned.
This is very tense. The Dragon is very important for CLG, and the steal comes through for Closer. Broxah left in the front is going to dash back towards his teammates. And CLG will actually keep all 5 alive, but 100 Thieves are in hot pursuit.
Critical unbreakable there from Smoothie to try and block the explosion damage from this lethality armor penetration.
Oh, they swap sides.
Graves.
All right, everyone's gonna recall a gentleman's agreement to back away.
We got what we came for, okay? Dragon down. Now everybody's on soul point. Even footing, baby.
Remember when I said that CLG would have 4 shots at the Soul? I didn't think we'd actually get there.
We go full distance. We like to give, you know, value for our tickets to our CLG shows.
All right, well, let's do one again. I kind of like the little flank here. It's very cute for CLG, but unfortunately, it just doesn't hit.
I really liked the all-in Realm Warp. That was like, we're coming in hot, baby! The only problem with those is like, it's very easy to Leona ult those.
Yes.
So it's good they didn't go for it this time around. But they exchanged the Ashe Arrow for Leona ult, which is an even trade. It comes down to Burst on Dragon. I really hope that CLG were just going to force on Closer, because Closer's eyes are on Dragon for smiting it here, and he gets in there with Ssumday, and he does have the burst damage. That smoke screen blocks them off, so no steal possible for CLG. As you know, he goes flying in at the end there. The Q actually did land, but it cost him all of his life. I guess it is possible to steal, but it costs you so much of your life to go for that afterwards that CLG forced out. And nice smite plus combo there from Closer.
Look at the rack we've been on, Kobe. That is a roller coaster gold grab.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not at all. Well, maybe in some ways. CLG are offering a lot of resistance. Hit 100 Thieves, right? I think you look at this matchup on paper and maybe you think would be done 10 minutes ago. 100 Thieves absolutely slaughter CLG. And there have been some missteps, but CLG have continued to apply the pressure. We'll see if they can pull the game out, because we're going late. In fact, we are late. It doesn't matter. Now the Baron for 100 Thieves is going to be the story. Broxah, can you counter-steal the big objective here? As CLG aren't getting in easily, but 100 Thieves actually will give it up. Damonte's also splitting.
Huhi got chopped up. So 100 Thieves were trying to draw this teleport out from Damonte, but Huhi just got 80% of his life chopped up right out of the gate by Finn. Viego's on you, and guess what? You can't force the teleport. They're going to take the turret bottom side, and now they're forcing on 100 Thieves. CLG have the possibility to turn themselves here. WildTurtle, Ashe Arrow is up.
TPing now, here's Damonte. Ssumday can't join us, the 5v4 for CLG. Arrow hits FBI, but he cleanses it off, and now the Baron is going to be it. Damonte gets it, but can CLG get out safely? Finn is trying to do what he can, but Huhi is low as Broxah kicks in FBI. That is such a good play, gives away his life to kill that one, and now Finn is trying to pop off. But FBI gets a kill on the other end of it there as the shutdown comes through for Closer. Ssumday over the top of the ulti trying to make it happen. Smoothie is going to get shredded to pieces. 100 Thieves actually going to get them all at the end of it. Despite the Baron, they stripped them all. It's a quadra kill for Closer.
100% the comms there is he's baiting them. Oh, maybe we can get like a kill over the wall. And I'm just like, bro, you're trying to bait a late game Gwen. This is 4-item Gwen. You're not going to kill him over the wall. Just flash out of there. Early flash turtle, run for the hills. Take those Baron buffs back to base. But CLG, the rest of the members come over to the Baron, Paul. They're like, yeah, maybe we'll get the cut. Guess what? Gwen reigns supreme.
Alrighty.
For Ssumday. They chase him down.
Alrighty.
First damage Graves is on display. Pastry on. I'm here for it.
Looking good. Closer 8-1-2 to close out that game. Our only Bud Light ace was the last one. It was the one that ended the game, as 100 Thieves will close it out against CLG to end our roller coaster ride for today.
I love it. Closer brings out the full armor penetration. Graves, boom, he hits all these dragon smites towards the end, gets the chase over the back of Baron Pits. That was an exciting one.
It was? Oh, I didn't even get the Dragon Soul. I just remembered there was only 6 dragons taken in the game. Couldn't get the 7.
You wanted 4 tickets.
That's true. I guess we got the
Dragon Soul show. You sure you don't want it?
All right, well, man, very back and forth game, to say the least. 100 Thieves, I mean, it's interesting on both sides, right? CLG definitely had windows into that game, or maybe be disappointed that they couldn't find a more aggressive avenue to getting a soul and snowballing. But 100 Thieves let the game get to that point. I don't know how they'll feel about that either. But you know what? We'll answer these questions later, because after the break, we're going to wrap up our day and check in on the standings.